expected this. When Jasmine Washington went live on Instagram last night, fans thought it would be another casual story time. Maybe an update about her boutique line or her quiet life post-love and hip-hop. But what she said instead stopped the internet cold. Eyes fierce. Tone steady, Jasmine looked straight into the camera and said, "He was never my husband. Not on paper. Not in life. It was all for the show. And I'm done pretending." Within minutes, hashtags like #FakeMarriage, #Mendeecees lied, and #JusticeForJasmine flooded social media. Screenshots, old clips, and reunion footage resurfaced faster than anyone could blink. Fans were stunned because if Jasmine was telling the truth, it meant one of love and hip-hop's most infamous relationships wasn't just messy. It was manufactured. The live lasted barely 12 minutes. But in that short time, Jasmine exposed what she called VH1's biggest illusion. She claimed Mendeecees wasn't just cheating behind Yandy's back. He was contractually tied to multiple romantic storylines, including one that presented her as his secret wife. "He told me it was temporary," she said. "A scene, a setup." He said the paperwork was for production, not marriage. But they used it. They made it look real. They made me look crazy. That single statement turned a forgotten subplot into a national scandal. Because if Jasmine's fake husband claim checked out, it would mean the man fans spent years defending the same man who preached loyalty, redemption, and love on screen had been living a double narrative all along. And this time, even the network couldn't control the fallout. To understand how Jasmine's words could shatter the internet so completely, you have to rewind to where her story with Mendeecees began on why it never truly ended. When Jasmine Washington first appeared on Love and Hip Hop Atlanta, her storyline was tangled from the start. She wasn't introduced as a new cast member with a dream or a business. She was introduced as a problem, a rumor. The other woman, back then, Mendeecees and Yandy, were still holding on to their image as Love and Hip Hop, New York's golden couple. They had just come out of a storm. His prison sentence, her loyalty, their supposed recommitment. Viewers saw them as a symbol of endurance. The network knew it. The producers knew it. And according to Jasmine, so did she. "They told me it would boost my visibility," she said in her live stream. "They said I was going to be part of this new direction, bringing truth and chaos back to the show. I didn't realize I was signing up to be someone's scapegoat." Behind the scenes, Jasmine was signed under what insiders now call a short-term storyline contract. That kind of deal, common in reality TV, allowed producers to bring in recurring romantic foils or existing cast members, people who could stir up drama, without long-term obligations. But Jasmine's situation was different. She wasn't cast as a random fling. She was introduced as a woman claiming to have a child with Mendeecees, a revelation that shocked fans and devastated Yandy's on-screen image. At first, it seemed like classic Love and Hip Hop drama. Another love triangle, another test of loyalty. But in retrospect, Jasmine's new allegations give that entire storyline a sinister edge. "They told me to call him my husband in scenes," she claimed. "They said it made the story stronger, that the audience would eat it up if it looked like he had a whole secret marriage. They promised they'd clarify it later, but they never did." That's how a simple contract turned into what she now calls a living lie. In her live stream, Jasmine even described the exact moment things spiraled out of control. It was during a filming break, after a reunion special wrapped. According to her, Mendeecees pulled her aside and said quietly, "You know, it's all for the camera, right? None of this is binding. Don't get caught up." She laughed it off then. But the next day, her DMs exploded. Blogs were calling her a homewrecker. Tabloids labeled her the secret wife. And strangers were tagging her in hate comments by the thousands. The same producers who had promised to protect her storyline suddenly stopped returning her calls. "They left me out there to burn," Jasmine said. "I was the villain they needed, so they let the lie live." Over the years, Jasmine faded from the spotlight, at least publicly. But privately, she kept receipts. Screenshots of texts from production coordinators. Photos of set documents marked marriage paperwork for continuity. Even an old draft of a confession script allegedly sent to her phone, instructing her to say, "I thought he was really my husband. I just wanted my family back." Those receipts, if authentic, could destroy whatever credibility Love and Hip Hop still has left. It's worth noting that this isn't the first time someone's accused the show of bending reality to the breaking point. Past cast members have hinted that entire relationships were fabricated to keep ratings high. But Jasmine's case hits harder because it targets the one storyline fans always believed was real. Mendeecees built his entire redemption arc around family, around loyalty, and rebuilding after mistakes. He stood on reunion stages, looked Yandy in the eye, and told millions of viewers he'd changed. The idea that those same years might have been scripted, that even his marriage could have been a storyline, it's nothing short of explosive. And Jasmine claims she has the proof. "I kept everything," she said. "The contracts, the text threads, the call logs. I wasn't supposed to talk, but they can't silence me anymore." You can't sue someone for telling the truth. After her live stream ended, screenshots began circulating online. One showing a text from a producer labeled VH1 East Unit that read, "Scene 4. Confirm marital paperwork prop for Jasmine MCAS Day 2. Fans immediately noticed the key word, prop. If that text was legitimate, it would confirm Jasmine's claim that the so-called marriage papers used in her scenes were never legal. They were props created purely for TV. And then there's the question of why she stayed silent for so long. Some fans accused her of trying to stay relevant, but others pointed out the risk she took by speaking up. Love and Hip Hop cast contracts include strict non-disclosure agreements, and breaking them can lead to hefty penalties. So why speak now? "Because I watched them do it again," Jasmine said. Different faces, same setup. They're still lying to the audience, still building fake marriages and real heartbreaks. "I can't be part of that anymore." Her words hit like a confession and a warning. Within an hour, Yandy's name was trending again. Fans begged her for a response, wondering what she knew and when. Some speculated she'd been complicit. Others insisted she was just another pawn. Either way, it became clear. Jasmine's revelation didn't just threaten Mendeecees' image. It threatened the entire Love and Hip Hop franchise. Producers scrambled to contain the story. But by then, it was too late. The receipts were out. The footage was circulating. And Jasmine, for the first time in years, had control of the narrative. "They used me to make a man look faithful," she said at the end of her live. "Now I'm using my truth to show what faithfulness on TV really looks like, fake." If even a fraction of what she said is true, it means the entire foundation of Mendeecees' story, his redemption, his loyalty, his family values, was built on fiction. And according to Jasmine, the next piece of proof she's releasing will make sure no one can deny it. The internet barely had time to digest Jasmine's confession before the digital aftershocks began. Within 12 hours, the Shade Room, Hollywood Unlocked, and Neighborhood Talk all ran headlines screaming the same thing. Jasmine Washington exposes Mendeecees, says marriage was fake. Clips from her livestream went viral across TikTok and X. Each one edited with dramatic captions like she's done being quiet, and the truth behind the contract marriage. At first, most fans didn't believe it. It sounded too outrageous even for reality TV, but when Jasmine posted her second video the following morning, she brought what she called undeniable evidence. She appeared in front of her laptop, scrolling through files, speaking calmly but with visible exhaustion. "You can call me bitter. You can call me messy. But don't call me a liar," she said, opening what looked like a scan of an official document. "This is the production breakdown from my first appearance on Love and Hip Hop. Notice the line right here. Marriage prop scene continuity. That's not my handwriting. That's theirs." She zoomed in on the words, "marriage prop." The text was faint but visible. Fans paused and replayed the clip thousands of times. "It was all a scene," she continued. "They told me, say he's your husband. Act like it's real. It'll make the story stronger. And when I said I didn't feel comfortable, they told me, don't worry. We'll make it clear in editing." Except they never did. And then Jasmine dropped the first bombshell of many. Mendeecees wasn't the only one in on it, according to her. At least 3 producers and 1 network executive approved the fake marriage arc. Despite knowing it could damage reputations and mislead fans, they told me it would humanize him, Jasmine said. That if the audience saw him being torn between 2 women, it would make him more relatable. They called it sympathy through scandal. That's the actual phrase they used. Screenshots of that phrase soon surfaced online mails allegedly between producers and showrunners. One message read, "Sympathy through scandal. Explore moral conflict between Y and J for redemption arc. Maintain emotional ambiguity." Translation: the entire love triangle Yandy Jasmine. And Mendeecees was manufactured, but then Jasmine made things even messier. "When I started realizing how fake it all was, I tried to walk away," she said. "But that's when they threatened me. They said if I broke my contract, they'd sue me for defamation of storyline." How do you defame a lie? Her voice cracked as she said it, and for the first time, fans started to believe she wasn't acting. This wasn't drama. This was trauma. And just when everyone thought the story couldn't get worse, Jasmine scrolled through her phone and played an old voicemail. The voice on the recording was unmistakable smooth, confident, and undeniably Mendeecees. "Yo, Jazz, don't stress. They're gonna clean all that up in post. You know how this go? Just play your part. We've gone both win off this." Silence followed. Then Jasmine whispered, "That's what he told me. Play your part." That clip alone set the internet ablaze. He admitted, IT. She got him on record. He said the quiet part out loud. Within hours, Mendeecees' name trended at #1 on X. Fans bombarded his Instagram with accusations, demanding answers. But he said nothing. His comments section filled with thousands of snake emojis. And then, out of nowhere, Yandy posted a single photo of her in black sunglasses walking into a courtroom. The caption read, "I said what I said. Truth comes out eventually." The internet exploded. She's suing him. Yandy knew the whole time. Now this getting deep. But before anyone could interpret her post, Jasmine dropped another twist that changed everything. She pulled up a new document on her screen. This one labeled Reality Union Filming Agreement Addendum 2. "This is the paperwork they made me sign mid-season," she said. "Notice this part right here." She pointed to a paragraph circled in red. "Per storyline requirements, talent must portray marital dynamic consistent with episode direction." Her voice shook slightly as she read it. "They literally made me pretend to be married by contract." The revelation went beyond Mendeecees. It implicated the network, the producers, and possibly even the entire love and hip-hop brand. But then came the biggest twist yet. Jasmine said she wasn't the only one. "Y'all think I'm the first woman who was told to fake a marriage on this show?" she said, leaning closer to the camera. "I'm not. There are others. Some of them y'all still watching every Monday night. They're just too scared to talk." She didn't name names, but she didn't have to. Within hours, speculation exploded. Fans dug through old episodes, trying to find inconsistencies in timelines, vows, and wedding clips. They noticed strange gaps, ceremonies that seemed rushed, documents that never appeared, and even cast members who suddenly married off-screen only to separate months later. Then, another leak surfaced. A former assistant producer anonymously sent screenshots to Black Tea Blog, showing internal memos from the network referring to certain romantic pairings as plot partnerships. One note even said, "Talent chemistry low. Escalate through engagement storyline." That's when the internet stopped laughing. Because if all of this was true, it meant entire marriages' entire lives had been scripted from the start as the story spiraled. Mendeecees finally broke his silence, but instead of a denial, he posted a cryptic quote on Instagram. "Some of y'all think y'all telling the truth when you're just telling your version." He turned off comments immediately. Fans were furious. Yandy's supporters accused him of gaslighting. Others claimed Jasmine was exaggerating. But one thing was clear, his silence wasn't helping then. Just before midnight, a new account appeared on Instagram. At Unedited Truths TV, its bio read, "We were there. We're done being silent." The account began posting behind-the-scenes photos from Love and Hip Hop set scripts, stage directions, production notes all, allegedly proving Jasmine's claims. One post read, Scene 5. Jasmine confronts M established betrayal dynamic. Ensure emotional peak. Camera tight on tears. Fans zoomed in on the photo. Metadate TIT was timestamped 2017. The same season, Jasmine's storyline aired, and then the page posted something else. A 30-second clip of Yandy and Mendeecees rehearsing dialogue before a spontaneous argument scene. You could hear a voice off-screen saying, "Run it back. More emotion this time, please." The comments exploded. "This ain't reality. It's theater. Jasmine was right all along." VH1. Your empire just cracked. As the chaos reached fever pitch, Mendeecees reappeared on Instagram Live. He didn't look angry. He looked tired. "I ain't perfect," he said. "But y'all really think I needed to fake love? Nah. What happened on that show was out of my control. I didn't write it. I didn't edit it. I just tried to survive it." Then, after a long pause, he added something that made fans freeze. "But if we're talking about fake marriages, maybe Jasmine should tell y'all who really told her to say that line, 'cause it wasn't me." He smiled slightly, then ended the stream. The internet went ballistic. Who is he implying? Was it a producer? A network exec? Someone higher up? Within minutes, #who told Jasmine was trending, and just as the speculation peaked, Jasmine posted one final message to her story, just black text on white background. "He wants to play games. Cool. Let's talk about the woman behind the script." Then, she tagged a name no one expected, Mona Scott Young, the queen of love and pop herself. The moment Jasmine tagged Mona Scott Young, the architect of love and hip-hop, the internet split like an earthquake. Fans didn't even breathe before the storm began. Mona's name wasn't supposed to appear in this mess. She'd always been the untouchable producer, the woman who built empires out of drama, the executive who could turn heartbreak into MA-level television. But in one swipe of Jasmine's Instagram story, the puppet master was suddenly part of the show she'd been orchestrating for over a decade. Within an hour, #MonaNew was trending. Jasmine went live again. This time joined by her longtime friend and former Love and Hip Hop hairstylist. "Keisha B, the tone was colder, sharper. This is bigger than me and Mendeecees," Jasmine began. "I'm tired of protecting people who get paid to ruin lives." Mona knew. She approved the paperwork. She greenlit every fake scene. And when I tried to walk, she told me to trust the process. Keisha nodded beside her, shaking her head. "I remember those meetings. They'd sit in that conference room talking about what's trending, like we was just hashtags, not people." Mona said, and I quote, "We'll give her a redemption arc next season if she plays along." That sentence hit like a meteor. Redemption arc next season. It meant they'd already mapped out Jasmine's humiliation before the world even saw it. It wasn't just reactive drama, was premeditated emotional warfare. Then Jasmine did what no one expected. She pulled out her phone again and played a voice memo. The voice that came through was calm, polished, and instantly recognizable to anyone who'd ever watched a reunion special. Mona Scott Young, "Jasmine, you've got to stop taking this personally. Everyone's storyline gets exaggerated. This is business. If you want longevity, you've got to sell a story, not a diary." The comments section exploded. That's her voice. Oh my God. She really recorded Mona. She was told to sell a story translation, lie for money. The audio continued for 30 seconds before Jasmine stopped it. Her face was pale, but her voice was steady. She said that to me 2 weeks before I was labeled the fake wife. She knew it wasn't real. She told me to make it believable. So I didn't. They left me to drown. Keisha leaned forward. They knew exactly what they were doing. They broke her reputation for a plot twist. And then Jasmine dropped the next bombshell. You know why Mendeecees went quiet? 'Cause Mona made him sign a hush clause. They gave him a bonus check to not contradict production decisions. Fans froze. That line, hush clause, became the internet's new obsession. People started digging into old VH1 cast contracts. And soon enough, screenshots surfaced showing standard NDAs labeled narrative confidentiality agreements. Buried in legal jargon was a sentence almost identical to Jasmine's claim. Talent agrees not to publicly dispute or reveal creative decisions affecting personal storylines. Realization hit like lightning. They'd all been muzzled even. Mendeecees' old silence suddenly made sense. He wasn't being calm, one fan tweeted. He was being contractually mute. Meanwhile, VH1 tried to step in, releasing a carefully worded statement. All love and hip-hop storylines are developed collaboratively with cast consent. Any suggestions of deception or coercion are categorically false. But that statement only made things worse. Cast consent. Fans immediately pointed out that consent isn't valid when tied to paycheck pressure. Within hours, former castmates backed Jasmine's claims anonymously through blogs. One said they told me to say I was engaged when I wasn't even dating anyone. They wanted to test audience interest. Another claimed, my fight scene with my ex was reshot 3 times. The tears weren't real, the drinks weren't real, and neither was the love. Okay. But none of that compared to what Jasmine did next on Sunday night. She uploaded a 3-minute YouTube video titled The Real Marriage. Files. The video began with screenshots of her supposed marriage paperwork complete, with production stamps and prop notes, then cut to unseen behind-the-scenes footage from Love and Hip Hop Atlanta. The clip showed a crew member handing her a thick envelope before a scene and whispering, "These are your prop vows, don't lose them." Then the camera zoomed in. The top page read, Scene 7B, Jasmine plus M vow exchange mock ceremony. 'Twas undeniable. Fans flooded comment sections with disbelief and outrage. They made her fake marriage vows. This is fraud. Not television. Yandy gotta be losing it right now. And then, mid-video, Jasmine included a never-before-seen clip of Mendeecees from the same day, standing off camera, laughing with a producer. Producer, you ready to make some TV magic? Mendeecees, yeah, long as they remember, it's all just TV. Those 11 words, long as they remember, it's all just TV, became the quote of the week. They were replayed on every podcast, talk show, and gossip blog in existence. They weren't just a confession, they were a thesis. Everything about love and hip-hop was a production. Every tear, every heartbreak, every reconciliation. But the twist didn't end there. Because after Jasmine's video hit 2 million views in 24 hours, Mendeecees finally responded, this time not with a denial, but with a counterattack. He posted a carousel of screenshots showing texts allegedly between Jasmine and a story editor, dated months after the fake husband storyline ended. In one, Jasmine wrote, "I'll do what's needed, but make sure I get a redemption scene next season." Another read, "They said I could come back as the victim, fine, but I want that check up front." His caption, "You not a victim, you a volunteer. Stop acting like you ain't know what game you was playing." The comment section immediately divided. Half the fans turned on Jasmine, accusing her of backpedaling. The other half defended her, saying the texts proved nothing, just that she was trying to survive the machine that exploited her. But then another bomb hit. Hours after Mendeecees' post, Jasmine uploaded a blurry screenshot showing an email chain with the subject line "Cast Coordination. Marriage Arc Sign-Off, the sender. Mona Scott Young." The email's final line, "Make sure both talents have their narratives aligned before Yandy's episode airs." That one sentence changed everything, because it meant the fake marriage wasn't a rogue idea between Jasmine and Mendeecees. It was coordinated with Yandy's own storyline. In other words, Yandy might have known. The comment sections turned volcanic. So Yandy's been playing saint while cashing checks from fake vows. Everyone's hands dirty. Everyone. Jasmine didn't expose a man, she exposed an entire industry. Then, late that night, a strange clip surfaced on Reddit. Greeny, dimly lit, clearly filmed on a phone. It showed a woman who looked eerily like Yandy sitting at a vanity mirror, speaking to someone off camera. They told me it's temporary, just for the arc. I didn't think it'd go this far. The video ended abruptly. Fans went wild. Was it real? Was it I? Was it leaked by Jasmine or someone else entirely? No one could confirm it. But one thing was certain. The narrative had flipped again by Monday morning. No one knew who to trust. Mendeecees, Jasmine, Yandy. Everyone was implicated. Everyone looked guilty. And when the Love and Hip Hop official account posted a teaser for the upcoming reunion episode with the tagline, "The truth will be televised," fans lost their minds. They turning real-life chaos into content again. They have no shame, Mona really said. If it burns, film it. But even that wasn't the biggest shock, because, according to a new leak from Inside Production, the reunion wasn't the end. VH1 had quietly commissioned a documentary spin-off titled Behind the Vows, the reality you weren't supposed to see. And guess who was listed as the executive producer? Mendeecees Harris. The announcement of the new VH1 documentary Behind the Vows hit social media like a second nuclear explosion. It wasn't even an official trailer, just a leaked production memo. But one single line was enough to send the entire entertainment industry spiraling. Executive producer Mendeecees Harris, the same man Jasmine accused of faking his marriage, the same man who supposedly manipulated her for a storyline. Now suddenly he was in charge of a truth-telling documentary? The hypocrisy was too rich for fans to ignore. Twitter, TikTok, and YouTube lit up instantly. So he gets rewarded with a doc after lying for years. This ain't confession, it's damage control. They're turning Jasmine's trauma into a spin-off. Mona's fingerprints all over this. And yet, not everyone agreed. Some fans argued that Mendeecees deserved a chance to tell his side. Others said VH1 was trying to spin the scandal before it spun them. Then things got even darker. Just hours after the leak, Jasmine went live again, this time from what looked like a hotel room. Her tone wasn't fiery anymore. It was tired, defeated, almost scared. "I didn't know they were going to use my name again," she said quietly. "They called it a documentary, but they didn't ask my permission. They're still making money off me." Her eyes welled up as she scrolled through her phone, showing an email timestamped 2 days earlier from a VH1 legal department. The subject line, "Use of likeness, waiver referencing season archive footage." "They're using my face again," she said, her voice cracking. "They just keep editing the truth however they want." The internet erupted. #ProtectsJasmine began trending. Celebrities like K. Michelle, Masika, Kalisha, and even Joseline Hernandez posted cryptic messages of support. Masika wrote, "We all signed the same papers. Don't act shocked." Joseline added, "They build you up to break you down, then sell the footage." Within hours, Rolling Out published a bombshell piece quoting a former Love and Hip Hop showrunner, anonymously confirming Jasmine's story. She's telling the truth. There was never a real marriage. Production created an arc and it spiraled. The higher-ups thought they could control it. They couldn't. The article sent VH1 executives scrambling. They released a second statement, this time defensive and vague. "We take these allegations seriously and are conducting an internal review into the authenticity of production practices." Referenced in online discussions, fans weren't buying it. Internal review sounded like PR code for wait until the storm passes. But the storm only got bigger. Bloggers began dropping exclusive insider leaks claiming that Mona Scotchung had stepped away from production quietly after Jasmine's revelations. Her PR team denied it. But eagle-eyed fans noticed Mona's name missing from VH1's most recent production credits. Meanwhile, Jasmine's lawyer, reportedly hired by a group of former castmates, released a formal letter addressed to Viacom, demanding a public apology and removal of all footage depicting her false marital status. The letter was leaked within hours. Fans couldn't believe the wording. Our client participated in good faith under the impression that her role was narrative fiction labeled as reality. She was deceived, defamed, and subjected to years of ridicule for a scenario entirely constructed by producers. That phrase, narrative fiction labeled as reality, went viral. It summed up everything fans had been saying for years about the show. Even mainstream outlets like Variety and Entertainment Weekly picked it up, calling it the most damaging blow to VH1's reality empire since its inception. Meanwhile, Yandy broke her silence again. She appeared on Instagram stories wearing a hoodie and no makeup, looking visibly upset. "I'm not defending anybody," she said. "But some of us didn't know what we were signing up for either. Don't act like we were all in on it. They made me believe certain things were real too." The reaction was immediate and brutal. Fans accused her of playing both sides, of waiting too long to speak. Now she's a victim too. Girl, please. So you didn't know your own husband was fake marrying someone else on TV? Mendeecees made fools out of both of y'all. But behind the chaos, industry whispers grew louder. Insiders claimed VH1 executives were terrified. Advertisers were reportedly backing out of upcoming seasons. And confidential sources said the network's legal team was preparing for multi-party litigation. Then, out of nowhere, Tamar Braxton weighed in with a tweet that broke the internet. "When y'all ready to talk about the contracts we all had to sign, I'll be here." Fans lost their minds. If Tamar, who'd been close with Mona and other Love and Hip Hop producers, was hinting that this scripted scandal went beyond just Jasmine and Mendeecees, it could mean the entire VH1 reality ecosystem was at risk. Podcasters and journalists started calling it Realitygate. Then came the biggest twist yet. An anonymous YouTube channel, at Reality Files and Cut, posted a new 5-minute clip titled "Jasmine's Prop Wedding: The Lost Tape." The video showed raw behind-the-scenes footage, camera crews repositioning lights, producers instructing Jasmine where to stand, and someone audibly saying, "Let's get another take on the ring shot. Make it more emotional." And then, at the very end, a voicemail, confident. Unmistakably, Mendeecees murmured off camera, "Yo, make sure she don't actually sign that paper." The internet went feral. "We heard him say it. We heard it. She's not lying. He literally said it. This is criminal." It's within 24 hours. The Breakfast Club did a full segment on the scandal, calling it the collapse of the fourth wall. Charlemagne the God bluntly said, "If this don't prove reality TV is a scam, nothing will." Jasmine's lawyer announced that she was preparing a civil suit against both Mendeecees and VH1 for fraudulent misrepresentation and emotional damages. That same day, an internal memo leaked from Viacom's legal department instructing employees to preserve all documentation related to the Mendeecees Washington incident. Is that phrase? The Mendeecees Washington incident became the headline of the week. It wasn't a storyline anymore. It was an event. By this point, public opinion had turned decisively. Fans weren't just outraged, they were mourning. People who'd grown up watching Love and Hip Hop suddenly felt like they'd been manipulated for a decade. Comment sections were full of nostalgia and anger. This show raised us on lies. All those tears, all that drama. For what? They exploited people's pain and called it entertainment. And through it all, Mendeecees remained silent until one final post appeared on his Instagram. It was a simple black screen with white text. "Truth has layers. Wait for mine." Underneath, a single hashtag. Hashtag behind the vows. The message was clear. He wasn't backing down. He was doubling down, and with the reunion special and the upcoming documentary still looming, fans braced for one final explosion because whatever came next wasn't going to be an interview or a leak. It was going to be a reckoning by the time that Behind the Vows documentary finally premiered. The world wasn't watching for entertainment anymore, it was watching for justice. VH1's highest-rated show had become the most infamous scandal in reality television history. And everyone wanted to know, would Mendeecees finally confess, or would he rewrite the story again? The trailer dropped 3 days before air date, and it instantly shattered the internet. It opened with Mendeecees sitting in a dimly lit studio, staring straight into the camera. No fancy backdrop, no dramatic music, just his voice. "I didn't fake nothing," he said, "but I also didn't tell the whole truth." Those 10 words flipped everything upside down. The full documentary aired on a Sunday night, live streamed on multiple platforms under Viacom's official banner. And from the first frame, it was clear this wasn't just a confession, it was a carefully engineered response. In the first segment, Mendeecees portrayed himself as a pawn of editing, showing clips of producers feeding him lines, manipulating context, and telling him to give more emotion. He claimed he never lied. He performed. "They told me it's reality with guidance," he said. "They didn't tell me the guidance was the whole script." But halfway through the episode, everything took a darker turn. Because suddenly, they brought Jasmine into it, not in person, but through an exclusive recorded call she'd allegedly agreed to before her lawsuit. Her voice came through shaky and emotional. "He knew it wasn't real. He told me straight up, we're making TV. He promised it wouldn't hurt nobody. But it did. It broke me." Then, in a move no one saw coming, the camera cut to Mona Scott Young for the first time. She addressed the scandal directly. Sitting in a sterile white studio, Mona spoke with her trademark calm professionalism. What people don't understand is that reality television is a mirror of emotions, not events. We heighten real feelings. We don't invent them. Everyone involved knew the stakes. The internet exploded instantly. A mirror of emotions. What does that even mean? So she just admitted it's fake without admitting it's fake. She's the queen of spin. But then came the moment that changed everything. Near the end of the episode, Mendeecees played what he called the lost footage. It was a behind-the-scenes clip from Jasmine's infamous wedding scene, the one she'd claimed was staged. In it, Mendeecees was off to the side, pacing nervously. Then a producer walked up to him and whispered something. The audio was faint, but subtitles read, "If she doesn't sign the prop form, it won't look real. Just convince her to sign it. It's only for show." Mendeecees nodded, then turned to the camera and said, "That's the moment I should have stopped everything." The confession landed like a THUNDERCLAP. It wasn't a full admission. But it was enough to prove Jasmine's entire story true. He didn't deny it anymore. He just framed it as regret. "They used both of us," he said, looking down. "But I played along. That's on me." Social media went into overdrive. Thousands of live tweets poured in by the second. Fans, bloggers, and even celebrities reacted in real time. Tamar Braxton posted, "Finally. The mask drops." 50 Cent wrote, "He tryna look like the victim, but he knew what time it was." And K. Michelle bluntly tweeted, "The truth was never the problem, it's who benefits from it." But the final 5 minutes of Behind the Vows changed the tone completely. The camera showed Mendeecees back in his dressing room after the interview. He was silent for almost a full minute, staring at the floor. Then he looked up and muttered something off script. "They think this clears them. But it don't. Y'all ain't seen the real footage yet." The screen went black dot. Then a new message flashed across the screen in red text. "The raw files, uncut, premiering next month." The internet lost its collective mind. There's another documentary. This man turned his own scandal into a trilogy. Is he exposing himself or marketing himself? And then came the most chilling twist of all, minutes after the episode ended. Jasmine posted on her Instagram story just one image, a USB drive sitting on a table next to a handwritten note that said, "They didn't show everything," the caption. "If he wants to play this game, I'll release the full cut." Fans immediately flooded her DMs, begging her to drop it. Speculation spread that Jasmine was holding the original behind-the-scenes footage, the one Mendeecees claimed producers destroyed years ago. Some claimed she'd already sold it to a streaming platform. Others believed it was part of her legal evidence and protected by the court. But what no one expected was the video that leaked that same night. A 30-second clip appeared on Twitter from an anonymous account titled @TheVaultLeaks. The shaky footage showed a cast meeting in progress with Mendeecees, Yandy, Jasmine, and Mona all seated around a long conference table. Someone, possibly a crew member, filmed it secretly. Mona's voice could be heard saying, "We just need the audience to believe in the marriage. Don't worry about legalities. We'll handle that." Gasps echoed through the room and through the internet. If that clip was real, it proved every single claim Jasmine had ever made. The fake marriage wasn't a misunderstanding or a rogue decision. It was a top-down directive by morning. VH1's offices reportedly went into lockdown. Multiple insiders confirmed a mass data audit was underway to determine who leaked the footage. Mona's team issued an emergency press release denying involvement and blaming doctored materials. But fans didn't buy it, because as the day went on, one more post appeared on the @TheVaultLeaks account, just a black screen with white text. "This is not over. Part 2 drops in 11 days. The caption underneath simply read, #RawFiles, and that's when everyone realized the Jasmine Mendeecees saga wasn't ending. It was about to go nuclear. So now we have to ask, what really is the truth anymore? Did Jasmine finally expose the biggest lie in love and hip-hop history? Did Mendeecees just turn his own scandal into a money-making rebrand? Was Behind the Vows a confession or a commercial? And if that leaked conference clip was real, if Mona, Yandy, and the producers were all part of it, then how deep does this illusion really go? Because what started as one woman reclaiming her name has now turned into a full-scale war. A battle over ownership of truth, of reputation, of narrative. Jasmine says she was used, silenced, and rewritten. Mendeecees says he was following orders. Mona says it was heightened reality and VH1. They're calling it creative storytelling. Let's be honest, none of this feels like storytelling anymore. It feels like erasure. Like the human cost behind the edits finally coming to light. Maybe Jasmine's USB drive really does hold the missing footage. Maybe the raw files is about to burn the last remnants of VH1's credibility to the ground. Or maybe, just maybe, this is another layer of the same game. One final twist meant to keep us glued to the screen while they profit off the chaos one more time. So, what do you think? Was Jasmine brave for speaking out? Or just another piece in Mona's never-ending puzzle? Did Mendeecees redeem himself by confessing? Or did he just weaponize the truth for views? And if the Vault leaks are legit, what will that mean for the entire reality TV industry? Drop your thoughts below. Every theory, every angle, I want to hear it all. Hit like if you think Jasmine deserves justice after years of silence. Hit subscribe if you believe the real story still hasn't been told. And remember, in a world built on edited emotions, don't just watch the story. Watch who's writing it. Be cow. Watch who's writing it. Be cow.